네, T1과 젠지의 첫 번째
T1
경기
versus
함께했습니다.
Gen.G
많은
game
분들이
number 1
기대하셨던
just
꿀잼
finished.
매치인데요. 일단
The biggest match
뱀들은
of this
서로
week,
나눠가지고
or rather the
경기를
split. How did the draft go? 3 OPs, Aphelios, Set, and Akali. So 2 of them was open, Aphelios and Akali. T1 without hesitating, they took Aphelios right after. So as we saw the key players stat, Teddy is on top of every stat. And Teddy he's doing most of the damage in T1 currently, so giving him this OP champion was the key for SKT's champ select. Well, Gen.G was expecting something else, sharing Aphelios and Akali during the draft. However, T1 did a really great job giving Teddy the most important champion. And BDD with the last pick took Talia. However, in the late game, Victor is much stronger, and also Victor is the key for letting T1 to hold on to all the other players to have their power spike. Well, Gen.G did make some attempts in the middle of the game, but T1 was also really good at absorbing those pressures. So we want to go through the most important point of the game, you know, the River Ram moment. So Faker finished that Elder Drake contest. So most of the players were down with their major skills. So this area mode was so extended so that they could just go for another cooldown. But Faker made a call, I'll go for Akali, just go, just go. So, well, Rascal was actually looking for a flank angle, then he rotated to mid lane for a wave clear. Faker, instead of staying for that River Ram, he actually chased him and then found Akali on lane. So I think this was really all calculated because even before they had vision on Akali, Faker was still keeping his eyes on her. So they knew Akali was down with ult. Faker had the confidence that he could just melt down, chunk down Akali with his full combo. So as soon as he saw Akali, he just went up to catch her down. It was like a minute or longer Elder Drake contest, but Faker was so focused on game, he kept checking the mid lane or other possible flank angle. However, Gen.G had one shot to turn things around. So this was a very dangerous 5v4 moment. However, Clid made a fantastic engage over here. He went in and picked up Gragas. He was waiting outside of the pit, and the rest of the Gen.G players were trying to poke him down. And as soon as he found him with his Q, he went in for a combo, and BDD followed with W. However, sadly, Clid was also picked up by SKT or T1 player after that engagement. So in the end, T1 took the Elder. I mean, it's really hard to decide in those kinds of moments, right? Well, actually, as Faker took down Akali, they were already outnumbered, and also T1 had the Ocean Soul as well, so I guess Gen.G wanted to make a play over there to find a breakthrough. However, T1 managed to play against it really well, so let's check out who is the POG for game number 1. It was Cuz on Gragas. Watching this game was actually praising Cuz so hard. I mean, this game was really hard to pick one specific most important player, but overall, Cuz was so impactful all around the Rift. So every play that happened in game came out of Cuz today. Cuz performance was on point today, so with that slight mistake with Clit, he was able to punish it right away. Well, Victory actually voted for Faker. However, well, Faker gave a huge final shot to close out the game. However, Cuz was the one that enabled their teammates to wait till they can have the game they wanted. I guess our English casters were on the same page as well. So it was 5 on Faker and 7 on Cuz. I guess definitely both players all deserve this POG today, but Cuz was the one getting this POG point for this game. So let's check on who will be the POG player in game number 2 heading over to the Rift.
Yeah, welcome back, guys.
Le Swinger.
Le Swinger?
Le Swinger. I was the swing vote right there.
Well, I think that...
Because if I voted for Faker too, it's 6-6.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I'm Le Swinger.
Oh my goodness.
That's me.
All right.
That's
well,
it.
You almost,
Every vote
you
counts.
almost fell on the Faker side of that swing.
I was, but...
As well. But I was the sinner, which is what Twitch chat is letting me know about consistently throughout these broadcasts. But, you know, Faker played really well. In fact, everyone played really well. This was just a great game of League of Legends. A very, very close one. I don't think the River Ram necessarily needed to last as long as it did, but you can see that the tension is so high between these two teams. There are so many nerves that play such a part in a battle like this. And now Gen.G, we'll see whether they can turn it all around. They're going to need some pretty consistent mentality in this particular game, as that is a good ban to start this one off.
Gragas being banned away as Rek'Sai immediately following by Gen.G. T1 now banning away. Wow, these are going fast.
Oh yeah, these guys know exactly what they want.
And will Soraka end up biting the dust? It will by Gen.G.
Like it. Like it
so
a lot.
I do like this. You know what? The POG state, it was filmed a little too early.
I think so too.
As the bans have definitely been tightening up. They've been evolving and getting a lot better. Really glad to see Soraka banned. Looking forward to it in 10.3 as well. She's not touched there.
Yep, we're going to continue to see that. At least we might have a new 100% ban champion in the Soraka.
Yes.
As Gen.G lock away the Zoe for BDD. That was banned in game number 1. In fact, first ban from T1. And T1 didn't want to allow the Aphelios to be locked in first too. So Cuz can take away Lee Sin if he would like to. A few options still left on the table. Teddy can go towards Misfortune or any other choice that he might have towards that bottom side. The only other champion outside of Misfortune that he's played and Aphelios has been that one game on Xayah, but Misfortune, they're just going down the tier list here for Teddy, giving him that option. You can imagine that Gen.G are probably just going to lock Kalista Taric after this.
Definitely think it's a real possibility as T1 leading this series. Gen.G might just fall back to comfort things that are also powerful. Really like the Orianna. If they end up locking this in here blind, I feel like it creates a lot of potential trickiness further down the draft for T1. Gen.G now locking in
another Akali.
Yeah, another Akali. Akali continues her 100% loss rate, so...
Well, she might just be continuing exactly down that path. It means so much for the standings, actually, if this is a 2-0 for T1. It's a lot of leapfrogging going around towards the top of the standings. I believe that T1 will propel themselves towards 3rd place.
Yeah.
Outside of what was 4th. And we will have a new top spot, I believe, after all is said and done, because Dragon X are currently sitting on 8 victories. Gen.G with a better win record at the moment. But after losing this game, and if they lose the next, they won't be able to continue that through, as Cuz, back on the Diana, has taken that for himself here. So all we need is a physical damage top laner, and T1 have a brilliant damage profile, as well as the Moonfall plus Shockwave combo. My god, it is so strong. Because you pull them all in with the Moonfall and then layer the Shockwave over the top of it. And unless you've got crazy movement speed or many, many dash abilities still available, that is what you're going to be able to do. Kalista, intelligent ban here out of T1.
No, it's either going to be Xayah or Ezreal as the final ban for T1. Renekton banned away by Gen.G.
And I think we're looking at a Varus for ruler if we're going down the tier list.
Yeah. Or we'd have something very weird like a Jinx end up coming in.
Yeah, or an Ashe or something like that,
Yeah.
playing with a little bit more control.
Ooh,
As Kai'Sa was
Kai'Sa.
one that we weren't actually thinking about, but is certainly another option. Ruler showing us that choice in the Damwon series earlier on this week. Final ban will be that Nautilus. So now, Teddy, what are you going to be picking up here? And it looks like...
Gangplank.
And counter-picking for support as well on T1's side. I like it a lot.
Yeah, and Gangplank does annihilate Akali straight up. That would be a really powerful pick. Also gives you so much control across the map, but now Kled being hovered.
Also has a pretty decent time, and that one's going to be locked away as well. A lot of dive potential now that the Kled has been added. So it means that T1 can play very aggressively around the top side of the map, and we know that as soon as about level 3 or 4 comes in for the Diana, she does do a lot of work. Now that her dash isn't her ultimate, closing the distance is no trouble for this champion.
Yep. Counterpick support is reserved. Will we see a mage end up coming in? And this makes it a little difficult for Gen.G now. They might end up just going with the Xayah Rakan down in bot lane, and that would make 4 champions that are really susceptible.
Oh, Leona's still available.
All right.
That's a really easy lock-in here for T1 if they do want to go for it. Of course, does work very effectively into the Rakan.
Lux, Zyra,
Nami.
So there's so many mages that are available. Don't let me see the Leona.
Bard.
Although I actually don't think that the Leona is that bad.
It's not bad.
In a spot like this. But
Oh, but Morgana's
okay,
also
all right.
pretty good.
we got another mage. So this is quite nice. Now it's not one of the super oppressive mages, at least not in this lane dynamic, as something like the Zyra or Lux. But it is definitely very controlling.
And do you know what it does? It protects you in the mid-game from these stray bubbles that are going to be flying around the rift. So if Effort is ever with one of his teammates, he just watches that bubble, watches for where BDD is.
T1's got... Now we're up to 2 out of 10.
Yeah.
2 out of 10, so 1 in 5 times they're getting a good draft.
Do you know what? It's better than week 1. Do you know how many times they had in week 1?
0.
Yeah, they had 0. So moving up to 20% from 0 is an undefinable increase. Just absolutely unbelievable. This is a wonderful draft out of them, though. Heads up, picking the Ori a little bit earlier. Of course, understanding that BDD did have the Zoe in the mid lane face up. Certainly still a rounded composition here on Gen.G's side, but it felt like T1 in that draft did have the answers and did understand what Gen.G were going for before they went for it, and that is something that Coach Kim has been able to do on Damwon in the past. I mean, this guy has drafted well in his history, and feels like he's finally found his sea legs on the T1 side of the table.
Morgana, Misfortune, Orianna, Diana, and Kled. Massive amounts of just raw engage potential as well as siege potential and poke. Make it rain. Crescent strikes from Diana as well.
And if just think about like the alley-oops for this Kled, who's going to be running in, you can attach a ball to him. The most comfortable of shockwaves available, and then Kuz's follow-up with the Moonfall. All the while, there is bullet time going across the entire team. As far as Wombo combo, this is a really beautiful and new style of Wombo combo comp to come in here. I like it. I like it a lot.
And even though Xayah is really good against T1's team composition, the other 4 champions that Gen.G has is not. And so it's going to be really difficult to see how they're going to manage to survive mid-game unless they manage to get nice advantages in the early phases somehow, as first dragon of the game is going to be the Infernal Faker continuing to take Scorch. It's so bizarre.
Also taking Phase Rush this time when, of course...
Well, he's going to be going GLP.
Ah, yes.
I do believe in this game. There's a lot of melee champions, lots of champions that are able to be influenced by that slow. GLP helps out with getting the Phase Rush.
Does mean that, you know, summoner spells are going to be more important for this particular Orianna, who has her spellbook well and truly sealed at this stage. Have to look to see how this one's going to go. Faker historically has been one of the best Orianas of all time for a very, very long time.
A little interesting, Cuz taking stopwatch instead of boots, and Diana is typically a jungler that likes to just power farm inside of the jungle and try to scale up. And, you know, I really like the jungle diversity that we are getting. We're not getting the Elise and Lee Sin this time around, obviously, in this game. We have the Jarvan. Now, I don't know if this Jarvan's going to go full AD, or if he'll end up going the full tank route that we've seen plaguing so many regions across the world.
Kind of having the worst of this draft thus far, as the bear trap on a rope is attached to the Akali. Level 2 now gained. Canna with the ability to joust around the top lane now. Most likely, still continuing to attach things as Faker with his dissonance, just trying to poke out B2D as best he can. The wave now pushing back towards the Orianna. B2D still able to reliably apply this Airy as this matchup continues. But now in the enemy jungle, we'll start off on this blue buff. Understanding that Cuz is likely to be trapped on his wolves just a little bit. His research pretty well. Is this Jarvan player.
Yeah.
Kellen going to move on over and help him out. So that is going to be a 3-buff start most likely here for Gen.G. Effort will spot that this Gromp is going down. And we're likely to see Cuz make a bit of a transition here at this stage of the game. He's just going to go back, try and grab himself an item advantage before he does delve into the enemy jungle, if he does decide to do that. Looks like Clid will be able to grab himself the Rift Scuttler, as Faker has to use his cleanse just to remain healthy enough to control this lane.
And so far, everything still going pretty safe and sturdy. I mean, obviously, Kana up there in top lane having a bit of a rough time against the Akali.
Yeah, Kana probably waiting for a few extra items before he's going to be comfortable. As Faker going to flash very early. Trouble Bubble lands onto a minion. That is because Faker flashed that one. But Clid finding the one-up against his former teammate.
It's really weird.
News.
You just saw Faker actually cast the QW onto the Zoe, even though he should have no intention of actually trading against her anymore. Because not only is his mana running really low, and he doesn't have a way to sustain that back up, but BDD can just crash this wave and then look to recall anyway. And so the damage that Faker's trying to put onto Zoe is irrelevant.
Yeah.
If you play out every sequence of events. So if we identify that as wave 1, on wave 2, is Faker going to be able to kill Zoe? No. And so Faker's mana pool is going to be depleted. And so in the War of Economy, BDD is winning out every single time. And so Faker's priority of what was important in that wave not really lining up.
Collected Flash is going to be used for BDD to jump through that wall. And Cuz not going to be hit by the Trouble Bubble, so he'll be absolutely fine. T1 continuing to struggle, though. You can see even Ruler with a 10 CS advantage.
Yeah.
Having a look at all of the camps that
The
are
map
still
looks
available.
really pretty when it's completely lit up.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Makes the mini-map look super weird.
It really does. I'm still waiting on some of the Rift skins.
Oh, damn. Kana going hyper-aggressive against Rascal here. Gets his little shotgun. Just waiting for Skarl to make his way back. And Kana should be totally okay.
Skarl takes some time.
Yeah, you just gotta keep fighting.
Yeah.
Keep fighting. Keep hitting.
Yeah.
It's one of the most satisfying
Do you think
auto attack
Skarl
sounds.
is a sadist? Because he wants you to fight before he comes back.
Ooh, that's true. No. He's not a sadist. He just likes to pick his battles. And so if you're the one doing a lot of fighting, then he's like, all right, this guy's I'm willing to jump back in. I'm jumping back in this fight now.
In this moment where Kana is sort of dancing around, it really looks like he's really close to an item completion. We saw Akali recall here into Seeker's Arm Guard and refillable, so we would imagine... No, I guess the CS discrepancy is big enough. Kana will not have Tiamat.
Yeah, it goes back. Can't even get the Rejuve bead to help him out there. Has the boots as well as a refillable potion. But otherwise it is just those two longswords that you were talking about. Clid, to start this Infernal Drake, will be able to comfortably collect that for his team. So Gen.G, we were talking about the fact that they need to play well around this early game, well, so far, things certainly have been going well. Probably one of our largest gold advantages here at 6.5 minutes than we've had the entire series.
And the other thing about this is all the laners right now for Gen.G are winning.
Yeah. Bottom lane by a large margin, but this mini wave is going to help out. Kellen just trying to add some poke underneath this turret. Even takes a turret shot, but he should be otherwise all right. Teddy doing a good job collecting all of the money available for him underneath the turret, apart from that last one. I apologize for the caster curse. There's now Ruler just looking to blade caller these minions to death. And the pressure is unending from Gen.G so far. Ooh, good bind there, going to stop the back that Ruler was going to partake in.
That was a little unfortunate by effort, just barely missing. And now it looks like Rakan and Xayah, they crash the wave. They're immediately moving, I believe, over to Rift Herald. They're going to get there right as it spawns. They're going to end up capturing this, and look at the missing pings. Actually completely off-timed.
Yeah.
Is T1 is now they're going to end up recalling, and they don't know yet what is the response. Now, you'll notice, I've talked about this many times, so Akali's not missing out on any XP or CS at all with the rotation that's going on. MF is going to go down to bottom, and that is about a wave and a half worth of gold. So the wave and a half worth of gold is worth more gold than the Rift Herald that eventually ends up getting picked up. Now, this isn't factoring in the CS, or the XP.
Yeah, the XP.
So it's about 8 or 9 minions worth of XP and gold, and now this is going to crash into the turret. And if T1 end up getting a plate off of this, if Clid takes the Rift Herald top lane and ends up getting 3 plates, well, it almost actually balances out when all things are considered. So
not
even
to mention Shirley's going to come up, and theoretically T1 could be in a better position to claim themselves that one.
And so I feel like a lot of people, they see the Rift Herald as this major neutral that they end up over-prioritizing sometimes. And in this instance, even if Gen.G ends up summoning it now, it's almost going to be pretty even in this regard. Now, fortunately, they didn't have to pull away BDD or anything like that and give Faker some free XP and CS leads, but definitely a bit feels bad, man, as now even the bottom lane state is bad for Ruler and Kellen. It's pushing back into Teddy and Effort, who are now coming off of a superior recall.
Yeah, and they're also going to get down here and be able to pick up the next wave of farm that's heading towards them and completely even out what was a pretty large advantage for Ruler bottom side of the map. 1 plate, though, going over to Rascal here top side. This is great news for Gen.G and for Akali enthusiasts around the world. Now, Diana coming back from base, has Runic Echoes completed. Faker with the cleanse. It is going to be available, but decides not to invest it because we are round about the 10-minute mark. Faker thinking about going home anyway. Good bind that time for a method.
Managed to hit him, and that's going to keep him in the lane, which means that Teddy and Effort now are going to have the leg up. And so a lot of people, they might be wondering, well, this is Morgana in here, and we've talked about mage supports many times in the past. Well, mage support doesn't have to win lane always. It's that mage supports scale a lot better in all stages of the game, typically, than their counterparts. And so, even though not a lot of action has happened, this Rift Herald did come into mid, and it was used to actually do so much damage to the mid-tier 1. So in this game in particular, this ends up being quite nice.
Yeah,
they're able to get that much damage to a Control Mage's turret, because normally Control Mages, once they hit Lost Chapter, or they complete into Luden's Echo, it is so hard to actually siege their turrets and get chip damage, because their wave clear is so insane. 30 seconds until Ocean Dragon, and Gen.G are just ahead 2,000 gold with an Infernal.
Well, they're trying to dive a Kled, which is a tough one. He's just going to run his way out. Can ground target that particular ability as the minions do leave, and Canna is going to back out. But now he's at a huge disadvantage. He's decided to go for the Hex Drinker first. I respect that idea. And now it looks like building towards Black Cleaver and foregoing the Tiamat for now. Cuz up here towards top side, he's trying to catch back up, but it feels like Clid has really put a dampener on this jungling experience for that Diana, Cuz has been practically a non-factor for this early stage.
Yeah.
An understandable point for a Diana.
Now at this point, we're just going to have ping pong keep unfolding in lanes. As T1 just continues to bleed, and honestly, a lot of this is just credit to Gen.G. These kind of CS gaps don't have anything to do with the matchups. This is just Gen.G's players are individually playing a lot better.
Not to mention, Clid is able to create so much more pressure on his Jarvan pickup, so that T1's lanes do have to play so much more respectfully. It's a flow-on effect from everything else. Is another bubble is going to land, and Faker is going to cleanse it immediately. Clid moves on up, though, and now will be able to claim this control ward very comfortably. It's spilling over the control of this game, and this is, I think, the largest gold gap to happen so far this game. As Faker clears out the minion wave with the ultimate. Is now Canna looking for Rascal. He's in his shroud, and now Rascal's trying to find this one back as Canna jumps off. But there's the Shuriken backflip. Rascal taking a turret shot, but the Hexdrinker, I think, really helping Canna there. As his little shotgun, his little blunderbuss, able to lock down those last few remaining minions. As Rascal now just cannot fight Canna because a few auto attacks and a Q, and he'll have Skull back, and that'll be a huge advantage.
Yeah.
But Gen.G, they should be able to take this mid-outer turret, and that is certainly high value for this team. Even higher value if you've got a Zoe who does value the map control so much more. As we move on, and this needed to happen. We have to remind everyone that this needed to happen for Gen.G in order for their composition to be able to stand a chance against what T1s can do in a coordinated assault. As now Teddy looking for Clit, a lot of extra damage here. Bullet time comes in, the flash comes out. As now Effort, he's got the black shield, and Kellen has to use everything to get himself out of the way, and this should mean Ocean Drake belongs to T1. And now Mountain Soul is what they're banking on.
Yeah, they really want Mountain against the Akali as well as just against the Zoe. And okay, you know what, Atlas? You are honestly a bad omen.
I apologize.
Okay.
Next
You
time I'll
just
pretend
wished for
that
it a little
Cloud.
harder.
Yeah, I should have. Yeah. That being said, they do have a lot of key ultimates on T1 side, so honestly, it's not.
It's not
all
super
that
bad.
Yeah.
It's absolutely not bad at all. Kled, Diana.
And remember that Cloud Soul movement speed
And also
activates
on Morgana.
after channels. Yeah, it's
So-
fantastic on Morgana.
Morgana's going to be able to utilize it a ton. Kled, Diana. So this isn't a bad dragon by any means. It just means that it's not going to be nearly as oppressive as what we could have had with a mountain dragon. Getting amplifications to the resistances against an Akali, against a tank Jarvan. That is really good, because Jarvan already isn't going to be dealing damage to most of your champions anyway.
Yep. As Canna attaches another bear trap to this rope. And Cuz, he's in position, control ward in that brush, so he's not going to be seen on any of this vision. Now BDD has the Zoe exclusive item in the redemption. Cuz actually not opting into utilizing the Scryer's Bloom. I find that very strange. As I probably knew, I guess, that Clid was in the area. And Shirley is going to join her sister on the Gen.G side of the Rift. So we'll see where she is going to go.
Both Gen.G fans, yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. I always thought Shirley was going to pair with T1. Didn't happen. And that is just a byproduct of Gen.G's control at the start of this game. 30 CS advantage here on the top side of the map. Now Rascal going to get a bunch of his health back. The minions also going to be repaired. And Canna, no availability. As far as helping this turret out is concerned.
I feel like I
Gen.G will
cast
break
her
their
curse
second.
T1, by the way.
Oh yeah?
In regards to the draft stuff here, because they're losing individually every single lane and role.
Yeah.
I don't really call jungle a lane. I don't know about you, but
Well, it's not a lane.
it's
But
not,
it
well,
is
I
a
mean,
role.
what if it is a lane?
Whoa.
What if that's like a Mario Kart course, and that's just part of the lane?
Oh, maybe.
You never considered that, did
But
you?
I think a lane is considered to be straight. I don't know.
I'm going to Google now to actually ask if a lane is always straight.
Yeah, you could ask that.
I'm gonna figure this out.
As BDD will spot Faker out here, but also spots a control ward. Trouble bubble, not going to find any targets. Control ward's now put down. Cuz takes half of his health bar. Absolutely not what you want. And now they're trying to keep control in the area, but as dark as this rift gets, the happier BDD does. As he's able to line up these trouble bubbles really nicely. This is the time of the Zoe that is dawning on us, 15 to 25. Yeah? Was that right?
Crooked lanes do exist.
Oh, okay.
You know, so.
I apologize.
Yeah, no big deal.
Well, in League of Legends, they don't.
Okay.
Well, I guess they are all a bit curved, aren't they? Apart from mid lane.
It's just one big Mario Kart adventure. Or Sonic. You ever play Sonic Adventure 2 Battle?
I loved Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. We've spoken about this.
I think that we have.
Yeah.
You know my favorite character, right?
You're Shadow there, right?
No, I'm Amy Rose.
You're an Amy Rose, so
yeah.
the opposite faction Shadow.
Well,
Knuckles, sorry. Why did I say Shadow?
It's because she gets her abilities faster.
I do like Shadow because he does have the rollerblades, and I'm a big fan of rollerblades.
Oh, you know, Shadow is pretty cool.
He is pretty cool. But I'm a Knuckles guy from Sonic and Knuckles.
Knuckles is respectable. If you said Tails,
I
was going to put in my 2 weeks.
What?
Yeah.
Jesus, I would have given him my own 2 weeks.
Yeah. I think Valdez probably is a Tails guy.
You reckon he's a Tails guy?
Yeah, right. Probably.
Oh, I don't know. I'd give him a little bit more credit than that.
Dr. Eggman?
Yeah, he might be a... Wait, who is that other...
Who? There's, is it Rogue or Rouge? I don't know how to say it.
I think Rouge is the other one.
The vampire kind of.
Yeah.
Knuckles' girlfriend or something. I don't know what's going on.
The opposite faction Knuckles variant.
Yeah.
Is what that one was. Did you ever play the Sonic Adventure 2 on Nintendo DS?
No, I did not. I never, my last Nintendo was, oh, hold on.
Yep, Cuz is going to be taken down instantly. That's first blood at 18.5 minutes, but Ruler has to Feather Storm to get out of that shockwave. Teddy and Effort are going to be able to take down this top outer turret. I don't know whether it's going to be enough to get them back from this hole, though. 5,000 gold is the lead here for Gen.G, the largest of the series. It's not seeming to let up at any stage.
And it just really doesn't look like T1 is going to be able to figure out any way to recover here.
Well, they desperately need to stabilize somehow.
Yes.
It's kind of not going to be one shot because it's impossible. Should otherwise be okay.
Cloud Dragon probably going to go the way now of Gen.G as well. Now, when we look at XP points, it's actually not that bad.
Yeah, Solar Lane's doing very well here.
T1 are all ahead in XP. And what's interesting about this is I wonder if it's a byproduct of all the turrets going down and thus the minions going on to T1's side of the map and some of the minions being killed before they go back on the other side, which is very adjacent to freezing in some ways. You know, maybe that's
I thought we forbid that word.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, we don't say that word anymore.
Fine.
It reminds me of Beauty and the Beast, you know?
Yeah.
Where it's like, no.
We just don't talk about it.
Forbidden.
Now, interestingly enough, freezing would actually be a way that T1 could hold things on their side of the lanes and slowly but surely recover.
Yep.
Because they're not so far behind that they can't actually contest in close proximity jungle camps, but also the jungle camp respawns. They definitely have a lot of time that they can end up buying, Cuz gonna end up picking up that Scuttle Crab. Now, also, even though the solo laners are ahead, Cuz is very far behind.
Yeah. 2 levels behind Clid, I believe, last time of looking, and still continues to be the case. As thankfully, you're not going to have, oh no, Cuz was able to leech a little bit of lane experience, so able to get to level 10. But he wants that level 11. Yeah, wants to be able to boost up that Moonfall as best as possible. And look, there is a chance that T1 find themselves that miracle team fight, right? Because their wombo combo is still extremely good. The problem is now is that Gen.G can split the map and play 4-1 super comfortably.
Yes.
And then Gen.G have no real option. Sorry, T1 have no real options. If Canna had a better experience in this laning phase, then maybe things would have been different. But because Rascal can deal with the Kled, makes it much, much harder. As, yep, that's pretty linear. And that's what we look for when we look at controlled games. They're able to be played pretty textbook and by the book. So Gen.G really having a great turnaround after what was a disappointing game one, after it was so close and then not quite able to get them over the line. T1 though not out of this one yet. Fat Lady ain't warmed up her vocal cords at this particular moment.
And everything is just really slow and stable. And honestly, this Kled not really doesn't have the skin, you know. And I think that was honestly a bit of a problem here for him. Personally, I'm a big fan of Count Kledula.
Yep.
Which, if you're a Kled fan, you like Kled, you like Skarl, you can find that in the shop for
the Riot store.
RP. Yeah.
It's a bit of a bargain actually.
It
is. It feels like legendary skin that one. It's really, really good. So kind of gonna get shot with a sword. Final Fantasy-esque maneuver there, but Canna now desperately just wants a few extra items, wants to be able to go toe-to-toe with Rascal here. Because this is a matchup that the Kled should be able to do pretty well in, you know? Kled has a history of being just pretty notorious for comfortably playing 1v1 side lanes. If you were Doinby fans, you'd certainly know that. Faker now looking for Kellen. Not going to find it with the Crescent Sweep either. So Rascal now alongside Ruler underneath this turret. Canna wants to deal with the minion wave, but he doesn't have a Tiamat. He can't get through these waves very fast.
Yeah.
Spellbinder done for Faker. Canna going to be left alone. That tower not going to be the priority. You can see Gen.G are just very happy about keeping everyone split, making sure T1 can't just 5v5. It's exactly what they want.
And the thing here is,
ow.
Oh man.
That don't feel good. Now an inner turret is going to go down. As a result, the power of Zoe has been witnessed. Ruler grabs that one for his team. Spellbinder completed for Faker. He's still 0-0-0 alongside the majority of the players on both sides. As we've only had one kill so far. Teddy comes back. He's going to keep clearing out waves, and we're playing some ping pong. But the more ping pong and lull state that's going to happen this game, the better it is for T1.
Yeah.
Right. So
the longer that this game does end up going, I mean, Klid, though, he's up 2 levels right now inside of the jungle. Now, that doesn't matter all that much once Cuz ends up getting to 11. Things are going to be fine. 30 seconds, though, until another Cloud Dragon is going to end up coming up. And I'm very doubtful that T1 is actually going to fight over it.
I think they might fight over the Soul because they want to extend the game for as long as possible without an Elder Drake spawning. They don't want to give Gen.G that other option to split the map open. They want to force Gen.G to fight around a Baron for as long as possible and allow things like the Cloud Soul to be coming in here as Teddy. Let's do a bit of damage there onto Faker, but in goes Rascal looking for the backline. Teddy gets a huge shield. They just dive on top of him. Shockwave onto a couple of members. Skarl is going to leave it now. Cleared. Very low flags. Drags gets himself out as Cuz. Proto Belzer tries to escape. He does get out. The last tick of the Ignite not going to be enough to take them down as Teddy is traded for Kellen. That is not what you want if you're a T1 fan, as now BDD dives in. Doesn't get the trouble bubble though. Somehow unable to thread the needle on that one. And it looks like this Cloud Drake will be the reward for Gen.G unless Klid dies to it. Frightening stuff. I think he will be okay. Smite's available.
So T1 definitely stepping up a little bit too far, end up getting collapsed on very quickly. A little over a 5,000 gold lead here at 25, almost 26 minutes for Gen.G. We take a look at it again. Teddy trying to go into the Fog of War, getting a bit of damage down. Then he goes forward for the control ward, which is just not necessary.
Yeah.
And in doing so, gets collapsed on. And ultimates just don't even really get used here by anyone.
Well, the Moonfall was featherstormed, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So they weren't actually able to utilize that Shockwave Moonfall combo.
No Kled ultimate ended up being used either. Effort ends up dinging level 9, but 3-level discrepancy in the jungle.
Well, Klid now standing on a control ward. We'll walk over another one as he makes his way out. T1 still with a fair bit of vision around this map, and they've stabilized his 5,000 gold lead for the last 5-7 minutes. which if you're a T1 fan is certainly good news. Gen.G certainly with so much more initiative on this map right now. I feel like I would check this game off as one where Gen.G have successfully been able to get the lead that they needed to get, given their composition. And now, they're going to utilize that lead in order to try and get this Baron as Cuz gets bubbled, but we're just buying space here. Gen.G, vision now given over to the Baron, and they do pull away. Kellen at half health. Rascal now pulling up on the side. Teddy is by himself, easily diveable by Gen.G. As, yep, there's Clid. Teddy gets into position, just walks his way out. No flash, so the Cataclysm not quite in range, but it's a free inner turret here for Gen.G, so still success for our guys in blue. Oh, bubble once again going to land, but that's the power of Black Shield. You know, with all of these Zoe picks in the LCK, you would have thought that maybe Morgana was banned in a lot of these games. She hasn't been. Another bubble lands though, and it's got a better cooldown as BDD diving on in. But enough body blocking is going to deny the Zoe, but you can just see, like, it is, okay, Clid just gets on top of effort. Stoneplate is there as now Faker can't make his way in. Bullet time gonna do a lot of work, but Rascal gets into the backline and eviscerates the Morgana. And that might be the pickoff that Gen.G needed to try and start off some sort of Baron and really put this game to rest.
Well, 6,000 gold lead now for Gen.G as things are just looking worse and worse. Cloud Soul most likely going to go the way of Gen.G as well, but this is a super slow and steady game being played by both parties. And it really looks like in this game that even though Gen.G, they're coasting ahead in every single lane, as well as jungle, T1 just looks like they're not playing to win, but they're playing to not lose as well.
Yeah.
Morgana obviously just ends up getting bopped there. And so Baron, yeah, it's a very real and scary threat at this point in time.
They're not over there just yet. You can see Control Ward vision is around the pit, but nothing inside the pit for Gen.G at the moment. As effort should be able to stop this back. It does so. Certainly good. Any sort of tempo adjustment here in favor of T1 is what they're looking for. But Clid has just continued to stay so far ahead of Cuz. It is just crazy. 2 levels, 40 CS, 10 camps in the lead, in theory. And these outer turrets are low for T1, so they will be able to take mid and bot lane, most likely, pretty easily if they are ever able to get an advantage. But if Gen.G just keep denying it, then the coffers of T1 just not going to have enough in them. Now, Faker, Dissonance out of the way of the trouble bubble.
And, I mean, right now, okay. Well, that Zoe damage definitely hurt.
Bubble unnecessary.
T1 are just having a very difficult time approaching.
Whoa, Faker is looking for Ruler here. He's running so far forward. It's now Kellen throws down the quickness as Cuz goes golden and Ruler just destroys Faker. He's just too far in advance as the bullet time flies in. 5-point strike very easily dispatches
and that's
the misfortune.
Gonna be the game.
That will be the game right there, LS. You are entirely correct, as it's a clean ace. And Gen.G, they were thinking about a Baron, and they realized that, hang on a second, we can just win the game. It's 30 minutes. They'll take down these inhibitor turrets very easily. This is what we're expecting from this series. We will go the distance, as Gen.G will topple T1 in game number 2. It was a much more consistent affair from this team. We're closing in on a 10K gold lead towards the end. And Gen.G tie it all up.
That was something.
That was something.
That was.
I'm trying to work out who to give the MVP to.
I give it to Clid for the consistent CS advantages, or well, the XP advantages, as well as just
the jungle shutout,
stifling the Diana early on with some assistance, and then Other than that, I mean, every laner individually won on their own accord for the most part. Like, obviously, Faker had some pressure that came in from the jungle, but that doesn't really totally excuse what ended up happening there. And then Kana getting blown out of the water up in top lane.
Yeah, it looked like he wasn't super comfortable on the Kled pick, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Can we just get more here?
Well, we can't.
They keep banning it away.
Yeah, it's been banned. So we are on Opsol, as we'd say in Korea.
Opsol.
Opsol. Yeah. Yeah. Means we don't have Ornn. It's just been banned every game. So what happens when you ban 6 champions before the champion select starts? That's sort of how that one works. But now we are going to be going to game 3. One of our first 5-game nights. Haven't had too many of the 5-game nights. It's been a lot of 4s or 6s.
Yeah.
So far, having a look at some of these highlights here as Ruler sidestepping the Super Soaker.
And look at Klid on the right-hand side. I mean, he's just drawing up so much aggro from Kana and Teddy.
And Rascal getting into the backside is
ends up using his
basically
stone
all
plating.
she wrote.
Teddy trying to get away from him. Faker was not able to do anything, and this is such a disjointed fight. And honestly, with the advantages that Gen.G had at this point, paired with how disjointed T1 just was in that fight, I mean, ends up just going the way of Gen.G, so we're tied up 1-1. The damage dealt to champions tells a pretty good story. No one was fighting this game.
Yeah. Cuz basically did nothing all game and then they lost. Is what it sort of felt like. Of course, Diana, if she's behind, it's just how it kind of works. Haru plays it very differently, but we saw that when Haru was put behind, whenever he did try to fight, he just died and gave away 300 gold to his opponent. That was just sort of how it worked. He, however, did have a successful game on it already. Did Cuz, so looking to see whether he can tidy things up moving into game number 3, because now I got to decide.
I can't even say that the draft's going to matter now in game 3, unless it's something super weird.
It's the first time he's ever said something like that. Make sure you clip that immediately. As ladies and gentlemen, we are going to go to a short break. When we get back, Gen.G versus T1, the deciding match for our final game of week 2. See you then.
바텀라인 리드 할게. 봐도 돼. 가고 있다.
이거 우리 하나
오케이, 천천히 빼면서 미포 와봐. 야, 이거 다이애나부터 봐줘. 다이애나부터. 아니야, 우리 미포 잡을 거야. 그래. 이거 빠져.
이포 하늘래.
끝내자. 갈게. 달려. 죽여. 나이스. 끝내자.
그래.
한판 더 남았어, 괜찮아.
네.
난 타워 해줄게.